Hello, I'm Robin Bresnark, the Brand and Creative Director at Buyapowa. Welcome to Referral Marketing MVPs, where it's my privilege to speak to some of the people at the coalface of referral marketing, the real people who make it happen. Over the course of this series, we're going to speak to lots of different people, lots of different brands. We'll ask them how they got into referral, why they chose it, what they've learned, what mistakes they made, where they see referral going in the future. It's great fun. We've had some incredibly interesting and insightful chats with people. I think you're going to really enjoy it. So, particularly if you're thinking of trying referral for the first time, or maybe you've been doing it for a while, but you've kind of hit a plateau, this is masterclass stuff. Sit back, enjoy, and stay tuned to our channel where there'll be more of these over the coming weeks and months. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by the wonderful Ollie Moore from Delta Community Credit Union in the metropolitan Atlanta area. Now, as you can probably tell from the name, Delta Community Credit Union, community is absolutely at the center of everything they do. And I was particularly interested to discover and learn and find out how they parlayed that organic sense of community that they have with their members into a Refer a Friend program. So that's where our conversation begins. Over to Ollie.
Absolutely, Robin. You said it perfectly. We often say community is our middle name. We are very community centric. We are involved in the community. We invest in the community in which we serve, the communities in which we serve here throughout Metro Atlanta. Before we started a proper referral program, just organically, very naturally, we would have members who would come into our branches and they would tell us their own personal testimonials of inviting their friends and family to join Delta Community, encouraging their friends and family to join Delta Community, even their fellow employees, their peers, their neighbors, for the service experience mostly. Folks just really enjoy having that experience and also this family-like atmosphere that they get at our branches. And so to answer your question, years before we started a proper referral program, we found that we had a lot of referrals happening organically. The challenge was, how could we track it?
Yeah.
How could we then capitalize on that or incentivize folks for their referrals, their organic referrals? And then how could we grow it? How could we really just make that a formal program in which members felt even more inclined to share what they love? That's a lot of the messaging that we say in our referral program. Share what you love about Delta Community. Right. If you love us, invite your family and friends to enjoy the experience as well. So it just made sense when we had the opportunity to formalize. And just going back, I've been with Delta Community for 15 years, as I noted. When I started, we had a in-house grown referral program, but just we had some system challenges with tracking it. And also there was just it just wasn't, it didn't have the opportunity to evolve in which we have it now with our members being able to do referrals through social media, and also having the link so accessible in the referral code and things like that.
Yeah.
But for us, it just made sense to formalize our program and to partner with a organization that just is the best at it. So I was very happy to be a part of the journey to where we are now.
Are there particular concerns being a financial organization, as opposed to, if you were selling cat food? Are there things you need to keep in mind for a kind of a fairly regulated industry with this?
Absolutely. That was actually one of the things that I was actually a part of the core team who vetted, just the businesses or the vendors to use for our formal referral program several years back. And that was one of the first questions, because we're different than just a cell phone service, or as you mentioned, cat food.
Or even people do referral programs for cat food. I've seen some weird ones though. The weirdest one I've seen is a sewage removal company. And I'm like, I don't think I'm going to share that with my friends. So you never know.
everything has become referral based now. One of the most popular things, a clothing company, clothing companies do it now. And if you
Hmm.
check out if you're doing an online purchase at checkout, I've seen it often presented to me a code or a link to refer my family and friends to use this same company. But to your point, because we are a financial institution, we are very regulated, heavily regulated. We do have certain legalities and compliances that we must adhere to. And with that, we also have one of the primary things is the protection of our consumers' information, their data, their personal data, and their account information. So that was one of the things that we needed to make sure we had solid and was able to partner with Buyapowa and just internally to make sure that it could be done in a way that still protected the privacy of our members. So that wasn't to be taken lightly. So we had to take several, steps to make sure we got it right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I still see referral programs. I mean, I think Airbnbs, they may have changed it, but last time I looked, they hadn't, where they were asking users to input their friends' email addresses.
Hmm. Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I
Mm.
mean,
Yeah,
over here, I mean, I'm in Europe. I'm pretty sure the same thing applies in the States. You can't go asking someone to give someone else's details without their
absolutely.
approval. It's really basic things like that. But actually, a lot of platforms still get that stuff wrong. And certainly,
Hmm.
when people kind of roll their own and try and build their own technology, it's things like that that maybe they don't think about. And you end up stockpiling data which you do not have the right to stockpile, and huge fines can come your way if you're not careful. So that's a kind of compliance thing that everyone has to follow. But I'm sure things are 10x with you guys, that you have to be meticulous.
Great point, Robin. One of the things that we do love about our program is that the ease and the the simplicity of it, so that our members don't feel like they
Mm.
have to share too much of their information. They don't really have to share anything, just a link to their friends and family for their friends and family to get started. We found that, especially early on, before we partnered with Biopower, when we did have it where you'd have to have the member's name, just very simple,
Mhm.
there were some things that were clunky there because sometimes the friend or family member wouldn't know how to spell the member's name just as it was on the member's account, or
Right.
the member would go by a nickname in their personal life, but for their banking, they would go by the formal name. So there were all these little things that we just found were so clunky and just needed to be smoothed out. But we do love the fact that because we are a financial institution, privacy is primary and very important. That the simple link and a unique link that each member can use to bring their family and friends on works just perfectly and smoothly. And it also, we think it encourages people to use the program even more so.
Is there anything that you've learned through doing this? Any kind of, you started off doing one thing and then you're like, no, we need to do this instead. Was there any sort of key pivot point?
I would probably say some of the lessons that we've learned is, and I think you noted it earlier, you want to make sure that your referral program is simple, it is clean,
Mhm.
smooth, a smooth process for both the existing member or the existing customer, and you'll have to excuse me, we call our customers members, so you'll hear me
Of
say
course.
members a lot.
Yeah.
So for the existing customer and for their friend or family that they're inviting to be a part of our organization or to open an account with us, so it needs to be a very smooth process. We've learned that over the course of the last several years. We also learned that education is important too,
Mhm.
because you have our staff who needs to know the program, how it works. They also need to know the important details that we include in our materials
Mhm.
as part of the onboarding of the program. So we found that the education needs to be solid, it needs to be available, it needs to be readily shared and available with both the customer, the existing customer, their invited family or friend, and with our staff.
That's so interesting that actually making sure that all your staff are aligned as well. It is
Hmm.
really, really important. And to be honest, it can also be a challenge in some businesses. I get the feeling that the way Delta Community is structured is that departments are very comfortable talking to each other and no one
Hmm.
gets too siloed and it's a team and you all work together on things. But I suppose sometimes you do get other businesses where marketing might do this, but
Hmm.
their relationship with sales operations, people on the floor is not quite as close and intimate. So getting that information through, so someone walks into a store and says something, they're not met with a look of a
Hmm.
what. You don't want that.
Hmm.
And how about the members? How do you go about educating the members about it?
Hmm. Resources. So we have a dedicated online page for our program. We also do marketing around the program. So our program, we call it evergreen. It's never off. It's always on, throughout the year. But twice a year, we do some special promotions around it. So we do
Right.
direct mail, emails. And so we're always educating our members. At least 2 or 3 times throughout the year, we'll include it in our newsletter. It's front and center on our website. We have a link there so our members will know about it. We
Right.
have a brochure that's available in our branches. So the collateral, the information is there.
Yeah, unlike a lot of businesses, I imagine actually physical representation of a program is quite important because,
Mhm.
people. I, again, I'm European, but credit unions aren't such a big deal here. But my experience in the States is that people visit credit unions more than they would visit a traditional bank. Is that fair to say? Um,
That's
the
very fair to
footfall is
say.
higher, right? Yeah. So
It's
the
very fair.
experience is perhaps less online, less over the phone, and more actually physically going. Um, so having a physical representation of that, leaflets, posters, that kind of thing, can make a huge difference.
Absolutely, absolutely, and you're right. Just the culture of the credit union experience is the personable experience for the customer, the member.
Yeah.
We find that people, even though we have all the digital services and platforms available for them, we have an app, we have an online banking platform. Our members are very inclined to come visit a branch from all age segments. You would think that it's mostly just maybe the more mature generation, but we do have the younger generation coming into a branch just as much as we have, their parents or grandparents. And with that, because they're coming in, we want to make sure that they know about the products and services, especially the programs that are
Yeah.
available for them to take advantage of and even be incentivized for the word of mouth referral.
Right. And word of mouth from the staff as well. So at the end of a great
Absolutely.
interaction, it was like, if you had a good time today and you think this is really good, tell your friends. Here's how you do it. There's
Absolutely.
no better way of promoting a program than that. I mean, it's just
Absolutely.
gold.
Yep.
That kind of
Absolutely.
touch point. Um, so you were talking before about clothing companies that you've noticed who do referral programs. Have you ever participated in one just as a consumer yourself? Have you ever referred anyone to anything?
I have. I actually just
Uh-huh.
several years ago, I got a I got a new toothbrush of all things, and it was an electric toothbrush, and
Uh-huh.
I won't say the company name, but it was so my aesthetic. I love the color black. That's just my brand. And so I found several years ago a black toothbrush that was an electric toothbrush, very modern, very clean.
Nice.
But I loved it. I thought, oh my god, where's this toothbrush been all my life? And it's easy to pack away and travel. You change out the top, you get a new one. um, you get you get signed on with a monthly subscription, so they'll send you a new refill
Hmm.
for the actual brush itself, and then a the toothpaste as well. And so I was so excited about it. I found out that they had a referral program shortly after I got the toothbrush, and it was really cool. So I thought, let me share it with my family and friends. So I sent the link to them and said, hey, if you're looking for a new toothbrush, I found one that I love, and I think would work for you as well. So the interesting thing about just me, I think, so a lot of my friends or family, they know I don't do things like that often.
Right.
So they thought, okay, this must be something to, consider. So it actually was really cool. I had so many friends come back to me and say, I really love that toothbrush that you recommended. So that was probably one of the last things that I have done an actual formal referral outside of our own program here at Delta Community.
What rewards do you guys offer?
So as part of our referral program,
Mm,
yeah,
yeah,
so we offer a bonus, a cash bonus for the customer and for the existing customer and their new referred family or friend will
right.
both receive a cash bonus. We often double it up for the member, the existing member, and sometimes for the referred friend a couple of times in a year, and we call that our
Right.
double bonus.
And what kind of impact do you find that has? Does that, I mean, clearly that's going to drive interactions and stuff, and I'm sure conversions. But is it more than? Does it double the rate? What kind of? Again, actually, this might be sort of privileged information, so I never really like to ask about numbers. But does it have a big effect? Those kind of booster campaigns.
Mhm. I will say just our program, it's one of our, bigger contributors toward new customer acquisition. So that's why we keep it on. It's never off. But during those double bonus times, and we do them at key points of the year for members. We do it around the holidays when we think that members
Right.
could use a little extra, amount of cash to maybe take
Yeah.
advantage of shopping. It really does. It really provides a nice boost during those times of year for both the member and for our business.
I like the fact that you thought about when to do it, not just, oh, we could do with an uplift, but you've actually thought, how can this relate to people's lives? And you kind of time it in the right way. A big thing for me is, I think it is, although your program's evergreen, it's always on, I think it's important to refresh things. I think it's important to
Absolutely.
contextualize things within people's lives. You do sometimes see programs that never change. A whole brand might change and the referral program's still in the old branding and stuff. But with retailers, for example, retail is a seasonal industry.
Hmm.
Certainly at least 4 times a year, things are very, very different. But the referral program perhaps might not change. And it makes it sometimes that makes it feel like, oh, it's something we want you to do rather than it's something for you. But that
Hmm.
sounds to me like you've actually thought, okay, we have this program, it is always on,
Hmm.
but what's it going to look like today?
Hmm.
What's important right now? How can we kind of rejig things around? I think that makes a massive difference because lots of things can be always on. Your television advertisement could be always on.
Hmm.
Your billboards can be always on, but you change the creative, you change things, you mix it up, you refer to things. No one is running the same creative at Christmas that they're running, in the middle of the summer. And I
That's
do
right.
think referral needs to be refreshed in the same way.
Yes, and that's a great point. So, although the mechanics of our program have
Yeah,
remained the same, and we want them to be the same because we want members to not have to try to remember something or try to feel like they have to stay up to speed or always educated on how the program works. What we will do is during those times of the year where we do what we call a booster campaign or a double bonus campaign, we will make it work with what's happening during that time of year. So earlier I said it's during the holiday we'll do it. So, one of our recent campaigns featured lifestyle images and it had a little holiday appeal to it. We also do it in the summer. So some of the marketing images will evoke that summer feeling of happiness, sunshine,
uh-huh.
folks out and about in the community, doing things in the park, going to festivals and things like that. We want to make sure that it aligns with the program itself.
This has been such an enjoyable conversation. There's such incredible kind of warmth comes off you when you talk about what you do for a living. It's
Thank
it's
you.
it's it's lovely to hear actually. As just to kind of cap things off. So that's where we are now. Do you ever think about where a referral might go in the future? you ever think about how things might integrate with other things or how things might surface? What are your thoughts for the future of referral?
Yeah, so I will say, just as I mentioned earlier, the journey of our referral program here at Delta Community has evolved. So prior to it being with Buyapowa, it was in-house developed, and at that time we thought it's working, it's cool, but it had some gaps there and it challenges. And then we partnered with Biopower and brought it to the new age, if you will. We made it a more seamless experience. And it opened it up to what we knew people were doing already. They were sharing things on social media, and we made it available for them to do it that way. I see our referral program kind of progressing more in that way. We also know that people are always wanting to do something super quick and on the spot. So
Right.
that's why in a lot of our materials we include a QR code so that our members, can quickly access our page, our landing page, where they can find more information about our program. So I'm very happy to see the evolution there. I do see our program continuing to stay strong. One of the things that we think is super important is to always keep it top of mind for our members. So that's why we always keep it on, and we always do a boost
Yeah.
throughout the year a couple of times. So I think that if we continue to do that, continue to stay advanced with technology, continue to also be challenged by our members. So I think the important thing to say is we listen to our members. And so if they'll tell us something that is happening or something about the program that they would like to see, or, a challenge on our side from a communication or education standpoint, we listen.
Brilliant. So
It's
again,
important.
that's evergreen, but many, many different shades of green in the green.
Hmm.
It doesn't mean that things stay the same because you certainly have to listen to,
Absolutely.
to your customers. You have to look at the data. You have to change things. You have to look at what everyone else is doing. And then, yeah, these things always change. When I think about what referral programs looked like just a few years ago and what they are now, it's kind of crazy how far things have come.
Ab-
Thank you so much for your time. And it
Absolutely.
was lovely to meet you. Thank you.
Absolutely.